Konnichiwa minna. Now, you guys all know how much I love Final Fantasy VII. But there are a few things about FF7 which are slightly inconsistent / interesting facts that I would like to share with you guys, and I'm wondering whether you picked up on these, and I'm also hoping that Square Enix would address some of these in the remake. So here's 5 things that intrigued me or made me question the storyline just a little. Number 1, the thing that's always slightly bothered me about Aeris' story in Gongaga Village is that she says that she doesn't know what happened to Zack and she thinks that he ran off with another lady. This is completely weird because Aeris is a very spiritual character. She's an ancient. They speak to the planet all the time. They hear the spirits, they hear the planet. And you might also remember Aeris' adoptive mother tells us a very interesting story about when Aeris is a child, she actually knows that her adoptive mother's husband has passed away whilst he's away to war in Wutai. So it would seem strange that as a child she could feel and hear spirits and know when someone's passed away, even if they aren't even closely associated to her, and yet she doesn't know what's happened to Zack. There's also one tiny little flaw in all of this, and that is that at the end of Crisis Core we see Zack pass away. And if you continue to watch the sequence, there's a little sequence where Aeris is in the church and she's praying and she sort of gasps and looks up towards the light which is coming through the roof of the church, and she's kind of shocked / sad. And I would think that this means that Aeris knew exactly when Zack passed away, since she must have sensed / heard his spirit returning to the planet, which is what ancients do, right? So to me, this is kind of a little flaw in the narrative of Final Fantasy VII. At least in that little bit, if you do take Aeris with you in your party to Gongaga Village and you visit Zack's parental house, you'll see this little sequence play out in which she says she doesn't know what's happened to him. So for me, it's a tiny little flaw in the story. However, I'd love to see Square Enix address this in the FF7 remake and to kind of patch up the storyline there, and also the truth about what happened when Zack died and what exactly she sensed in that moment. Number 2 kind of coincides with number 1. But we never really do ever hear what happens to Ulfalna, Aeris' real mother in the game. And we kind of just assume that, she got buried or, her death was taken care of. I mean, it was a sensitive issue, obviously, in the game, but then again, we've seen more extreme things in FF7. Don Corneo, Headless Genova, just saying. So I really feel like Square could have addressed this because it kind of leaves a slight little loophole for me. I mean, what exactly happened to her body? Was she buried? Was she cremated? Was she taken away by Shinra for, experimental research? What exactly happened to her? Where did she go? It kind of leaves me wondering, and it makes me think that if she was buried, would she not have been buried, in that little garden-looking area right outside of Aeris' home or somewhere around the church where Aeris could feel close to her mother? It just kind of makes me wonder, and I really hope Square addresses this in the remake because it would be interesting to see exactly what happened to Ulfalna, and if she is buried close to Aeris' church or her home, how Aeris connects to her mother, because I'm pretty sure that we could see some really cool scenes of dialogue where Aeris is praying and maybe talks to her mother and her spirit, or sort of prays as if she's speaking to her mother. And if she can speak to spirits, this is one spirit that I'd really love to see Aeris interact with. Would she speak about the planet? Would she speak about Zack? Would she tell her about Cloud? It's really interesting, and there's kind of a lot of potential in this. I'd like to see how Square plays it out. Number 3. Less of a flaw and more of an interesting fact. Now, if you are basically on the rumour train and you know a lot of rumours about Final Fantasy VII, then you might remember a certain little rumour which went about on the internet which said that Hironobu Sakaguchi's mother's death is actually what inspired him to kill off Aeris' character in the game. And of course, it's really sad. And apparently the rumour has it is that he did this so that fans could understand what loss and sadness feels like. And of course, losing Aeris as such a key character in the game, which we build so much attachment to, certainly makes us feel that way. And apparently that's also what inspired Nobu's composition of Aeris' theme. Filled with all that sadness and loss, I can kind of hear it, guys. I remember her theme, and I remember it being one of those tunes that will forever pull my heartstrings. So I feel like Hironobu and Nobu, both of them kind of nailed this, both the tune and the sequence of events. I mean, if we could keep Eris in the game, believe me, I would choose that option all day, every day, because I love her. But at the same time, if she didn't pass away in the game, would it be the same game that we remember? Or would it have as much of a deep impact on us? I mean, I think her passing away was a pivotal moment in the game and kind of really did teach us about loss and sadness in the game, and especially from the eyes of Cloud, who grows such a deep attachment towards Eris, right? I guess there are a lot of people out there that wonder if Eris will actually live in the remake. Will she die? Will she live? We don't really know. But I would think that it would be a completely different game if she did live. So I'm kind of hoping that they keep the storyline, at least from that perspective, slightly the same. Number 4, cue Yuffie's music. This doesn't have anything to do with Yuffie, this little flaw that I found in the game anyway, but it's kind of mischievous. And I think that Yuffie's theme would fit perfectly here. Number 4 is the Nibelheim incident. Now, as we go back to Nibelheim with Cloud and the party, you might remember going into Tifa's room, playing on the piano, looking in the wardrobes, doing everything that you could possibly do in Tifa's room. And if you were nosy like me, you would have read the report or / letters on the desk. And you'd think they're letters, especially when you start reading. But no. Apparently, Shinra, when they decided to rebuild Nibelheim and pay actors to act as residents in this town, they actually decided to leave all the confidential documents stating that they did that right there on Tifa's desk, for any wandering traveller to just pop into Tifa's house, go up to her room, lie in her bed, and then read this confidential document from Shinra HQ, basically stating that they rebuilt the whole town after it was burnt down, and then they paid people to live in the town and to act like their residents. Nice one, Shinra. I don't know if this is a flaw or more like a little comical trait of FF7, but I love it. Like, I remember finding this document again and being like, what the heck? Who would do this? Which secret agency in the planet or on the planet ever, which ever existed, would ever do this? We just do something top secret and then we leave all the documents. So, number 4, I wouldn't really say it's a flaw. It's more just a comical little element of Final Fantasy VII. One of the reasons why I just love this game so damn much. But yeah, number 4 is the not so secret Shinra secret. Number 5, you remember that bit when Diamond Weapon is on its way, when the Mako cannon is shot at it, and then the blasts go straight towards Shinra HQ. And who should be standing right at the top of the building in HQ other than Rufus himself, aka the son of the potato. Rufus is just standing there like, I see you shots, I see you coming at me. I ain't gonna move for shit. And he doesn't move, he just stays planted on his little feet and he just doesn't move an inch. And what should happen? The next little scene we see is the Shinra HQ, top of the building, up in flames, just where he was stood. Now, basically, they told us, or showed us, that Rufus was blasted to bits. And after that, nobody hears from him, nobody sees him again, until he just suddenly pops up in Advent Children one day with bandages all around, looking like Tutankhamun all mummified and shit. And it's like, what happened? Like, what actually happened? Was there, like, an escape, like, route there that's secretly hidden right beneath his feet? Did he just drop down the ground and, like, land on first floor? Like, what happened? Where was the escape valve? Where was the escape door? Where was the escape route? We know nothing. There was literally no information about that when Rufus was blasted to bits, until he just popped up one day looking like a mummy. So I really want to know how Square addresses this in the remake. I want to see more about this little sequence, because I think that it's slightly unfair to just leave it hanging there on the edge and to leave it entirely up to our imagination, because I think that would make a really cool sequence. Can you imagine, like, the blasts coming towards the Shinra HQ, Rufus just looking at him like, I see you, I'm not moving though. And then someone, I don't know, a little security guard, maybe that little lazy one that was sleeping like earlier when Cloud and everybody sneak into the building, but that same security guard actually sees him and is like, not today, Satan, and he just presses a little button and then Rufus just goes down the chute and he ends up on the first floor unharmed. I don't know, this is just my version of it, Square Enix. Obviously, you guys can make it so much better, but I can imagine a really cool sequence playing out here. So Square Enix, go ahead and do your thing and show me what happens because I'm really interested to know. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think that these are some pretty neat facts slash little sequences slash little flaws in Final Fantasy VII which make it perfectly imperfect as it is, and yet it's still super perfect to me in my mind and will always remain that way. But I'm interested to know, guys, is there anything that you've picked up and that you'd like Square Enix to address or maybe even change in the remake, and why? Put it down in the comments below. I will see you guys in my next video. Sayonara!